Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Welcome back to another podcast of Heal Without Harm. My name is Dr. Clayton Dir, physical therapist, also known as the Doc Dir. Today's outline, I'm going to tell you why you can stop stretching. You can let that cloud over the top of your head, that cloud that says you should be stretching more. You can just let that thing go. What you need to be doing is strengthening. And I'm also going to tell you why that stretching, whether or not you're doing it, is probably not working. I also want to say huge thank you to all of my consistent listeners. The podcast that we did recently with Hannah Rossov was easily my biggest podcast so far. And that's because it must have struck a nerve. We'll bring that gal back for round 2. And you guys shared it like crazy. And I really appreciate that. I also want to give you a heads up that my next podcast, the one that will come out next week, will be a gal who is a doctor, PhD doctor, and she'll be discussing the overprescription of psychiatric medications, ones like SSRIs and other antidepressant and anti-anxiety medications. And one of her big goals is actually helping people deprescribe themselves from long-term use of these medications and how to do so safely. So stay tuned for that. It'll be another great one. Lastly, other than sharing this podcast directly with a friend like I know a lot of you did, can I please ask a huge favor on helping me grow by sharing this on social media, whether that be Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, whatever else social media you use. If you're able to tag me, please do. You can tag me at the Doc Dir or leave me a rating or a review. We've gotten some more ratings rolling in, and I really appreciate that. But if we could also get some written reviews, those are really, really cool to hear. And I can screenshot those and I can post them on social media as well. So let's get to it. I want to compare your hamstrings, or really any muscle that you're trying to stretch out or elongate. I want to tell you why it's just like buying a puppy for the first time. When you first buy a puppy and you're going to go on a walk, you're going to keep that thing very close to you, right? You're not going to let it go running all over the place because you don't really know what it's going to do. You don't trust it, right? It's very unpredictable. You're not sure if it's going to cause problems, cause relationship issues, tear up someone's yard, get into something, bite somebody. Like, you just don't know what's going to take place. I'm here to tell you that's how your brain feels about those hamstrings of yours. If you're unable to bend over and touch your toes and you feel so much tightness in the hamstrings, that tightness is pretty much your brain yanking on the leash, saying, please do not go farther. Your brain does not trust your hamstrings. It is not sure if this puppy or these 2 puppies of yours are going to be able to handle it, or if you're just going to snap them and get hurt. Let me bring this back to something that will make a little bit more sense than my horrible analogy that's getting out of hand. The thing is an untrained dog gets a short leash. A well-trained dog gets a long leash. The stronger your hamstrings are, or whichever muscle that you're trying to train is, the longer the leash you'll be given, aka the more stretchy you'll be. Now, let me get particular here, right? Because if I just tell you that all it needs to be is stronger, then what you're going to do is going to go try to look like Ronnie Coleman or Arnold Schwarzenegger or Jay Cutler. And no, becoming a bodybuilder is not going to give you more flexibility. But strengthening that muscle through a long range of motion is what's going to give you a longer range of motion. For example, I would say I am the closest to doing the splits now that I have been since 7th grade. And that's because when I do my leg training, whether it be squats, deadlifts, ATG split squats, lunges, things like that, I'm going through the biggest range of motion I can. I'm trying to get my ankle through a full flexion, trying to get my knee into full bending, and I'm trying to get my hips essentially stretched out, but doing so with a load. Because when you make a muscle elongate or get longer or stretch out, but you do so with a load like a dumbbell or a kettlebell or a barbell, that weight not only carries you into a deeper stretch, but you also have to use the stretched out muscle to bring yourself back. Again, let me try to paint a picture through the speakers in your headphones or the speakers in your car. If you're bending over to touch your toes, we can all agree that your hamstrings are getting longer. They're being stretched out. Now imagine instead of bending over to touch your toes, you are letting down a weight of some sort towards your toes. That weight is pulling you into a deeper stretch, but the hamstrings have to pull you back up into standing. So not only are they being exposed to a longer range of motion or a deeper range of motion, but they're getting stronger in that range of motion. It's like taking that dog, if we go back to the analogy, it's like taking the dog or the puppy to a new area, but also training it how to be a good dog in that new area. So you have more range of motion and you have the strength to come back from that new range of motion. I'm not going to go super in detail on today's podcast or super long. It's going to be a short one, but I want you to know that you can carry this principle over to pretty much any muscle or joint. So whether it be hamstrings, whether it be quads, the muscles on the front of your thigh, preventing your knee from bending, whether it be your hip flexors in the front of your hip, not allowing you to stand up straight or not allowing you to bend back like you want, whether it be your low back, right? And so maybe your low back doesn't want you to bend forward or round, or maybe your low back doesn't like you to extend or lean backwards. It can come into play with the shoulder. A lot of the times when people lack overhead range of motion, they lack external rotation, the opening up of the shoulder. You can use a light dumbbell, 3, 5, 10 pounds, and you can use the same principle of strengthen it and lengthen it to get the range of motion that you've always dreamed of, especially if you've tried stretching for a long period of time without success. With today's podcast, I want you to simply know that more and more studies are going towards making muscles stronger and longer as opposed to just simply stretching them. I'll leave you with this last little piece and then we'll finish up. Again, today's a short one, so I hope you have a great Monday or a great day whenever you're listening to this. There was a study done, I believe it was with the Army, because they're some of the easiest people to study because everything is very regimented. And what they did is they had 2 groups go through a training program, and one group stretched beforehand and the other group did not. There was no decrease in injury in the group that stretched versus the group that did not stretch. No change in injury. So if you want proof that stretching does not prevent injury, this is it. It's this podcast. And if you have someone in your life that keeps telling you to stretch more, please send them this podcast. Let them know, hey, this dude Clayton told me that stretching is not going to fix me. And so that person will have to justify why they keep telling you to stretch. Or you can just pick up a dumbbell and start strengthening those muscles through a big range of motion. And if you need some more detail, click on one of the links in my bio and reach out to me. We'll get you squared away. We'll get this cleaned up. So to finish out, thank you again for your support. Thank you again for taking a second out of your time and leaving me a review, leaving me a rating, sharing this with a friend. Help me get more cool people on this podcast to talk about things that you want to know, whether it be functional medicine. The gal that I'm bringing on next, we're going to talk about anti-anxiety, antidepressant medications and how to take less of them or how to avoid them altogether and still solve your problem, whatever it may be. And also, if you would like a second opinion on any sort of pain or mobility restriction that's going on in your life, please reach out to me. Come on in for an evaluation. It'll be half off. It'll be discounted to make it cheaper and easier for you. And we will get you properly assessed. And if it's not with me, it could be one of the people in the clinic that I work at. But we will get you taken care of. And I really hope that today's podcast taught you a little bit more on how to heal without harm. Thank you.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.